With the first pick of the King of Games Yu-Gi-Oh! Draft, Seto Kaiba selects Yugioh GX.
In a world full of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, grading, selling, buying, one card game remains supreme. One man has the insights you need to know. Watch and subscribe now. YugiohTube.
What's up, YouTube? YugiohTube here with a fancy official hat that doesn't fit my head. Yugioh GX, this again is Shonen Jump's official gear. And of course, before we start this video, can we give a shout out to these cool t-shirts? I bought this a long time ago. These, supposedly, the ones I'm wearing, were given to judges of events, sneak previews, all that good stuff, or to stores. I don't really 100% know. Nonetheless, super sick shirts. Now, we're going to talk about, obviously, Yugioh GX. And first of all, I don't know why this doesn't fit my head. My hair is a freaking disaster. I need to get a haircut. I actually need a shower. So, I don't know how Nah, I ain't going to do it either. We're just going to keep it this way. Yugioh GX. Investing. A lot of folks said, Yugioh GX. You're kidding. You are You would rather have an ultimate rare Cyber End Dragon or Shining Flare Wingman than that of Blackluster Soldier, than that of Dark Magician of Chaos. Not to say these cards are bad. Okay, these cards are great, but all things considered, when you weigh the pros and cons, and when you weigh all the different factors of these cards, it gets a little more enticing. We first saw a rise in 5Ds and Ghost Rares, and a lot of folks said, that's justified. That is 100% justified, because you know what? They have a set ratio. Well, 1 in 200 plus packs? 1 per case? Fair point. But, people forgot to think, well, there's 2 ultimates per box. Okay, 2 ultimates per box. There's, let's say, 20 hollows per set. Okay, well, that means to get any ultimate that you want, you're talking 1 in 10 boxes. And that is not considering the elephant in the room, that everything was distributed equally in equal quantities. Okay, now this might be getting into too much. This is probably something for another video, but I wouldn't be so sure that Ultra Ultimates were printed in the same quantities than that of even Super Ultimates. There's a few reasons for this. Again, totally needed for another video. But let's just say I wouldn't be too sure about that. Let's just say Upper Deck has been known to short print cards, both in the sports cards industry and also in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, aka Crush Card Virus and Gold series. That thing was a pain in the butt to get, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Let's just say that years later, GX finally, as we see now, has taken off. But when you say something takes off, you think, okay, it took off, and it's time to capitalize on that takeoff. Everything's got to come to an end, right? Everything. Meteoric rises have to come falling and crashing down. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're not going to get into the economy and what is going on in the economy. That might be another video in the future. But right now, assuming the economy stays relatively the same, or even not, okay? Maybe not. Where are we going to see the biggest falls and the biggest highs? When the economy is good, when are we going to see the biggest growth? When the economy is bad, when are we going to see the minimalization of losses? When are we going to get near to that baseline that we once had when things go bad and dry? And when you look at something like Yugioh GX, and again, a lot of the folks, oh, you're kidding. This stuff is just a novelty. No one needs this stuff. You know, everyone needs the original set. And I agree with that to an extent. Everyone needs LOB. Everyone needs Metal Raiders. Everyone needs Magic Ruler and the originals, Dark Crisis and Invasion of Chaos. Of course they're great sets. But what happens when Blue Eyes is 5,000 plus a box? What happens when Blue Eyes White Dragon is 10,000 for a PSA 10? Do you think folks are just going to keep on paying? Here's my money, here's my money, here's my money? Or do you think folks are going to look and say, okay, you know what? I respect Ultimate Rares, and I respect cover cards, and I respect it to the point where, I could get 15, 10 Ancient Gear Golems, Gem Mints, for the price of one Blue Eyes. That's an interesting proposition. Or I can mix and match. I can get some Ultimates, I could get some Ghosts, I can get some 5Ds cards for the price of one Blue Eyes. All of a sudden these other options seem a little bit more enticing. Of course, maybe when Blue Eyes was on the same playing field as all these other cards, well, of course it makes sense to go to Blue Eyes, right? But we have seen this shift now, and it started with the original era, and it's moved on to GX. It went to the original, to Ghost Rares and 5Ds, and it has slowly crept up in GX to the point now where booster boxes are hitting record highs. Ultimates are hitting record highs. And again, let's go back to what we were saying. Well, we're on such a rise that it just makes sense to sell. You know, when you look at a half a year at 6 months and say, oh, okay, I could double, triple my money in 6 months. I mean, you'd be a fool. You'd be a joker not to, right? But again, if you're in it for the long term, you're going to experience highs and lows. And there is a decent chance that these highs will minimalize and we'll see a dip. Especially if the economy does go sour, right? We'll see some sort of response. But 10 plus years from now, will we see overall a long-term dip? I don't think so. I think overall you're going to have these fluctuations, but it's just going to keep going up and up, even with these fluctuations. And then when you look at something that keeps going up, what are you looking for? Well, you're looking for, obviously, scarcity. You got that. You're looking for nostalgia. And, well, when I mentioned GX earlier, when people thought I was crazy for even mentioning such a thing as GX as an investable, people say, oh, no. The nostalgia doesn't lie with GX. It's all the original stuff. It's all the original era. No one wants GX to relive memories. We're going to be at the point where there's going to be older people who their first generation was GX, like ours was the original era. And all of a sudden it makes sense. And all of a sudden these people will have jobs and disposable income and whatever else they need. And they said, wow, this is what I remember. I remember the Cyber End Dragon and the Shining Flare Wingman and all these other things. Okay? And we're going to get to that point, and eventually we'll probably get to more and more points. As long as the game keeps going, we're going to get to more and more points where people have this emotional attachment and this nostalgia to certain cards and sets. And let's compare this to one thing. And look, if you folks don't like Pokemon, then obviously feel free to turn this off. But if you know anything about Pokemon, you know that Pokemon Gold Star cards are some of the hottest in the game. And Gold Star cards weren't in the first few years. Gold Star cards came years later. And how does that make sense? You know, everyone says original. Well, wait, okay. The original base set, Charizard, of course, is the Holy Grail. But again, there's other avenues now that people looked into, and they said, Gold Stars, and they exploded. What made Gold Stars rare? What made Gold Stars desirable? Well, first of all, let's look at Gold Stars, a tough pull. Let's look at Crystal cards, tough pulls, not easy pulls. Okay? First of all, Ultimate Rares, not easy pulls. The ones you're looking for, forget about it. Only 2 per box, not easy at all, considering the set odds. And Gold Stars are tough. They were in an era, produced in an era that let's be honest, Pokemon was on a lull. Pokemon, a lot of folks said, oh, this phase of Pokemon is ending, and it kind of cooled down like anything does. It cools down, and it cools down, and obviously it's very, very likely that Pokemon, okay, didn't run the presses like they did with Jungle Fossil and Team Rocket. They didn't run those presses because after the success of base set, they said, okay, run the presses, run the presses, run the presses, run the presses. And then as things cooled down, and the game kind of got less popular, still great, but less popular, there's a good chance that Pokemon and Wizards of the Coast said, okay, let's cool the jets on the printing. Let's just print some Aquapolis and some Sky Ridge. And these sets didn't take off for a very long time. And so what happens here is, we're seeing a huge growth and increase in GX, but my point to you here is I don't think it's done. And look, if it were to minimalize, if it were to go down, I don't think in the long run it's ever going to go down much. I think they're going to be very, very scarce. A lot of people I know have been looking for specific cards in PSA 10s for so long now, which is even crazier to think about because it's not even cover cards. It's certain Ultimate Rare cards in PSA 10. So, take it as you will, but that's the story of that. And when a box is $800 to $1,000, I don't think anyone's going to take that gamble to go ahead and open it rather than just spend the money and just get the card that they need for their collection. So basically, just going back to the parallel between the E series in Pokemon and in the GX series in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a very strong connection in the fact that they probably weren't printed nearly the same numbers as the original era. So the Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously the OG era up to Ancient Sanctuary. In Pokemon, it was up to, obviously, the E-Series cards. Once those eras kind of cooled down, once the games kind of cooled down, it's safe to assume the printing numbers were lower. And obviously, with lower print runs, you're going to have rare cards. Not going to be easy. You pull a card from a pack, Ultimate Rare, the odds of it getting a 10 aren't that great. Similar to a Ghost Rare. Even if you pull a Ghost Rare out of a pack, the odds of it getting a gem, not that favorable. And you have Ultimate Rare indentations and squares on the back of these cards. It makes it hard. So, if you have GX cards, what are you going to do with them? I'll be honest with you, I ain't going to sell any of them. No. Even when the prices are high right now. And a lot of people said, why aren't you selling this? This is up 200%. You got to hold strong. You don't want to hold strong stupidly, but you also want to hold strong to the point of keeping what you think will be in demand in the long run. What you think is not easily replaceable. What you think people are going to want. And without getting into any specifics, it's safe to assume that kind of what 10s are out there in Ultimate Rare is kind of out there. There's not that many Ultimate Rare 10s in existence. It's a rarity that was discontinued, similar to Ghost Rare. Could come back, maybe, maybe not. But, even if it does, a lot of people consider that and Ghosts the greatest aesthetically looking cards, with tough pull rates, tough gem mint rates, and expensive sealed product. And that right there is a recipe for higher prices. And since we've maxed out, quote-unquote maxed out, really gotten to the point of no longer being able to go to collectors but more investors with the real high-end stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh, we look elsewhere. And where do you look? You look at GX, you look at 5Ds, you look at other stuff, tournament pack stuff. But there's other avenues, and there's always other avenues. And it's supply and demand, and let's be honest, the demand compared to the supply out there seems favorable to me in GX. Until next time, what do you think? YugiohTube signing out. Comment below about what you are doing with the GX cards you got. Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? Again, economy aside, in the long run, 10 plus years, what are you doing? Let me know. Until next time, YugiohTube signing out.